Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Unbiased unboxing, and in this episode we're going to take a look at Undaunted reinforcements, okay? But we're also going to take a look at two brand new copies of the Normandy and North Africa, but I'm not going to unbox these because most people have probably seen this by now. What I am going to do is I'm going to unbox them off camera and then compare the components and the cards and such from what I got here, so people can see, hey, if I buy this right now, how bad is this situation going on at the time of this video where these first edition cards, are comparing to what you buy. So that's my whole point of comparing the three, and let's see what we get. Okay, and as usual, folks, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can continue to grow my fan base. So as you can see over here, I have already unboxed the other two games, and we're going to compare them to the contents of the reinforcement box. You notice the reinforcement box is actually pretty thick. It's thicker than the other two. And on the back, again, sad that we only see, some components. We don't see what the game looks like set up. Normally, I would ding the, the base game and give the expansions a pass, but unfortunately, what you can tell over here is that it's the same thing with these. It's just a couple of cards and some tiles. I'd love to see this game kind of set up so you kind of have an idea of what you're doing somehow. There's a will, there's a way. Anyway, so let me grab my little opener tool here. All right. It does clearly illustrate what you, or I should say describe what you get, which is good. Glad to see that. All right, and as we open this up here, what do we find? Inside the box, it does have a kind of like a texture-y art print inside. Okay, we have the rule book here, and the rule book is laid out very similarly to the way that the rules were for the base game. I have actually read all these rules. I don't know how easy or not easy it will be to play the game based on reading them all. They do give a good, solid example of play, but you're going to probably be referencing some of those things at the beginning just because you have, okay, what does it mean by this keyword and that keyword? Here's our solo book. And this is really the main attraction for me. So this is going to show us how to set up each of the scenarios for solo play. And you can see it's just a bunch of not flowcharts, but spreadsheets and such, letting you know. And I know there is some errata on the actual, well, definitely on Board Game Geek. I'm sure it's on their website as well, to try to fix any issues from that standpoint. And then you got these scenario books here, which has to do again with the setups and solo. So it's kind of interesting. You've got the scenario book, which definitely has the solo stuff in there and tells you what to do and all that. And then I had that other solo book that was a bunch of sheets. So I think this probably has to do with the scenarios that come here. They have solo, and then this would tell you how to play, and I'm sure that's what it is. Yep, this tells you how to play the other two boxes of the original game in solo mode. All right, then it looks like this is telling us how to pack this, and it looks like we've already had some things punch themselves out. The thickness of these is very thin. It's not flimsy thin, but it's on the thin side, I would say, of a cardboard token. I would actually prefer them a little bit thicker than this, to be honest. So it's just a little bit on the thin side there. All right, we have some vehicles. Mine looks like mine got kind of banged up a little bit in shipping, unfortunately. All right, and then we have the cards. So this is the big deal. But before we get into this, not that I'm trying to draw it out, we'll just go ahead and open up some of these. These are your three big decks of solo cards, okay? So we'll open up one of these, kind of show it off, give you a feel for the way they look, the quality. Now, usually I sleeve everything. These cards I will not be sleeving, at least these big ones, because I don't see a point. I don't think there's any spot you'll be shuffling them. And so usually that for me is non-sleeving territory. Plus they're big and I don't have the sleeves for these. So we have like the Platoon Sergeant here, which has, looks like a 21A side and a 21B side. And so you're gonna, I bet these are all, well, they're not all double-sided, so some of them are. But you can see here that these cards are condition-based, and this is how you are controlling your units. Or I should say the bot's units, not your units. The bot's units, depending on what you're doing, okay? The cards themselves are a little bit on the thin side, regrettably. They're smooth, no texture. So if these were cards I was shuffling a lot, I would probably say, yeah, you may want to sleeve them. But these are going to be cards that I'm going to be referencing, and they're going to be sitting out, not being shuffled. So it is what it is. Just a smidge on the thin side from my take. They are big cards too, so sometimes it's tough to judge that, but kind of that's where we are. All right, so the other two decks are going to be very similar, I'm sure. Now, let's see what all the fuss is about with the card backs here. Again, I bought these literally within days of one another. I don't know how long they sat on the shelf or whatever, but this is a situation where this is America to America. We'll see. Okay, so when I look at these two cards, I do see a difference visually, ever so slightly. Mine are not that bad. Neither, and the card cut, yes, I could see that there's a little bit of a difference in the cut. The expansion seems to be a smidge bigger. Since I sleeve all these with clear sleeves, I don't think that's a big deal. Yeah, you can definitely tell. These are, so the expansion cards are definitely faded, comparatively speaking, to these. You can see that the color is a little more drab. This is a little less white, and this is more pronounced. So I can see what people are upset about. I can understand that. This card quality here is the same as those, so it's going to be the same as the feel here. In fact, it's kind of funny, actually. Maybe they're the same, I don't know. But at first glance, it almost feels like the reinforcement cards might be a smidge thicker. I don't know, you'll never see that. But I can see the color differences, okay? So right here and here, are they ridiculous? No. They're subtle, they're there. If you really look for them, you could see it. So if you're going to be upset about that, you can either wait, or you can sign up for the replacement decks, which they are making available, and you can get that taken care of. All right. So here, more noticeable here, you definitely see more chromatic yellow on the left and a duller, definitely a different kind of shade yellow on the right. So these are probably the ones that are most different so far. And let's look at the Italian ones here. All right, very big difference here. This one is extremely rich, very chromatic, darker. This one is lighter, less chromatic, and these are very different. So if nobody had pointed out anything, honestly, I would have barely recognized these differences, but for the Africa decks, you bet. Those are pretty bad. Okay, so you can make your decision based on what you've seen here from somebody who just bought some fresh decks, or some fresh boxes, okay, from the American region. I'm assuming that's where they all came from. I did get my original copies at my friendly local game store, or I should say the base games, and then the reinforcements I had to buy from Amazon because they weren't available yet. So I don't know what region, if there's a difference there. But I wanted to show it to you so that you could make an informed decision. Again, I think the way the publisher is handling this is great. They're cutting new decks. They're sending out for people to order them. I'll be ordering some based on what I'm seeing here, and I think that's fantastic. But I've heard so many good things about this game. I just didn't feel like waiting for another printing. I figured I would do this and enjoy it for a while and then get the other ones. And again, here's the kind of cards you're seeing. There's new types of units here. You've got some more riflemen. You've got this Panther. You got a Panzer unit. So these are the, and then the tank platoon. So those are the expansion for the Germans. And then you've got some riflemen here, A, B, and C, a Stuart. So the Sherman. tank platoon commander. And then we've got the sappers, the grenadier, submachine gunner, and the sergeant major, and the assault aircraft, submachine gunners, mechanic, sniper, and the command leader. So that's what you're getting. Also getting some, it looks like, yeah, some different tanks. Obviously you got the vehicles coming up for the Normandy. So you got tanks there which weren't present in the first one. So that'll change that. And you have this over here too. Oops. What did I, oh, these are just, okay, these are the cards. That may be for transferring. I haven't read all the rules on the multiplayer side of how you play 4 players. Maybe that's what that's for, I don't know. But anyway, here's your tanks too. So that's what you're getting. I'm very excited to try this. I'm very excited to play the solo mode. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fantastic. And again, I just wanted you guys to see what it was like compared out of the box with some new copies. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Whatever you play in the future, have a fantastic time doing it, and take it easy.